everyone, Just for Sweets here. So today we are going to make another freezer meal, and it is going to be lasagna roll-ups. And basically what I'm doing right now is I am sauteing. I have some leftover hamburger and pork from another dish that I made from my taco meat freezer meal, and this is the rest of the meat from that. And so I split the meat between two meals. So I have about 3/4 of a pound to a pound of ground beef, and then I have about half a pound to 3/4 pound of ground pork, and then to that I'm going to add half a package of this mild Italian sausage. These are going to be made with some spinach, some cream cheese and ricotta mixed together, and the meat, and we're going to roll them up and then serve them with a tomato sauce. But we are going to make these a freezer meal. So basically what you want to do is you want to get your pan going, and you want to get all this meat sauteing. So I'm going to kind of mix it all up and let it get going. As soon as it gets going, I'm going to go ahead and add my Italian sausage to it. And I have a tiny bit of bacon grease, tiny, like minute amount on the bottom of this pan for some extra flavor. I had cooked some bacon in it, and I just went ahead and left it in there. So this is going to get sizzling. And we're going to let this go. Okay, it's starting to cook. So then what we want to do is we want to add some of our Italian sausage to this. And like I said, I'm going to use a half a pack, and I'll save the other half for breakfast. Let me wash my hands real quick. All right, we're going to mix this all together, and we're going to let it start sauteing, and we'll come back and we'll start adding some of the seasonings to it that we need to add. Okay, the meat's about halfway brown. We've been chopping it up. The sausage is in there, and I just kind of keep chopping and stirring, but at this point is when I want to add the seasonings that I'm going to add to mine, and this one's pretty basic. All I'm going to add to this is a heaping tablespoon of garlic, because I love garlic in my meals. We're going to add some sea salt, probably around 2 teaspoons, and you can taste it and see if you need more. And then we're going to add some ground black pepper, or coarse black pepper, and I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of that as well. And then I'm going to add some of the Wild Tree Hearty Spaghetti Blend, or if you don't have the Wild Tree, you can use Italian seasoning. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that, about a half a teaspoon, to my meat. And if you're interested in the Wild Tree, go over to Linda's Pantry, and she actually has her Wild Tree website, and you can order it right off there. These are no MSG, no chemicals, or anything added to these. So that's what I'm using, but like I said, if you don't have that, you can use an Italian blend. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and mix this all up. Let it brown a little bit more. Let those flavors get in there really well. And then as soon as this is done, we're going to turn the heat off. I'm just going to let it cook a little bit longer. We're going to turn that heat off. And we're going to go ahead and set it to the side until we get going making our roll-ups. The next thing we're going to want to do is you're going to want to boil your lasagna noodles, and you can actually do that while you're doing the hamburger if you want to. I'm just kind of doing this step by step. So I'm going to get the water going, and we're going to boil those lasagna noodles so that we can get things ready, and then we're also going to make our cream cheese and ricotta cheese mixture. So we'll be back for all that. Okay, so we're back. I have the water going for the lasagna mixture, or the lasagna noodles, I'm sorry, not mixture. And I put some salt in there, and I also put some olive oil, and a lot of times they tell you not to put oil on your pasta. I'm doing that because I want these to separate and not stick together. So as soon as this comes to a little bit more of a boil, we'll go ahead and we're going to get our lasagna noodles. And I just bought a regular pack at the store. I think they cost me about $1 or so, right around there. And you do not want these to cook all the way. It's not like a typical lasagna. You want these just soft enough that you can roll them, but not too soft that they're mushy. You want to only have them about halfway cooked, so that once you fill them with everything and roll them and cook them in the sauce, the moisture will soak up and you'll have a more firm lasagna roll. So the water is really starting to boil down there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick one noodle in at a time, and I'm going to kind of crisscross them like so. And you're only going to be able to cook a few of these at a time, just because you don't want too many going all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cook, how many do I have in there? 6 right now. I'm going to cook about 6 at a time, and then that way it's easier for me to keep an eye on them and see that they don't get overcooked. So I'll bring you back when I've got these to the texture that I want them to be, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we're making the filling for our lasagna roll-ups, and what you're going to need is some sour cream, some ricotta cheese. I'm using a half a block of cream cheese, some grated Parmesan cheese. You can use fresh Parmesan, whichever you prefer, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. So we're going to start by putting our half block of cream cheese into the bowl. Now you can substitute this if you'd like with third less fat or fat-free. I don't like the consistency of fat-free cream cheese, so I wouldn't use that, but if you want to, you can. Or I don't mind third less fat. I do like that cream cheese, actually, so you can use either one of those. Okay, and then we have our ricotta cheese, and basically what we're going to do is take about a heaping, this is just a regular big spoon out of my kitchen, and we're going to take like a big heaping spoonful of it and stick it in there. Now, I would say it's probably about 2 tablespoons. You can add more or less if you like. And then with a different spoon, I'm going to add our sour cream. And this just makes a really great filling with a lot of flavor. And I'm going to add a little over a tablespoon of that. And now we're going to add our grated Parmesan. And you can put as much as you want in there. I'm going to put, I'd say about 2 tablespoons of that as well. I like the taste of the Parmesan cheese. Now, one thing you could add at this point, you could add green onions, you could add shallots, you could add garlic if you want to. I'm going to add some salt and pepper. I'm not putting any shallots or anything into this mixture just because of my picky eaters in my house. I kind of snuck that stuff into my meat, and I'll sneak some in my sauce. Okay, and I would say I don't want too much salt. I think I put too much in my hand. I'd say right around a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, basically all you're going to do with this is start mixing and just kind of mix gentle. You're going to have to press that cream cheese down. If you want to use a hand mixer, you can. I'm just going to do it by hand with this spoon. And basically what I do is I kind of fold and then I press to the bottom of the container with the cream cheese so I can kind of smooth it out. If you can see that, kind of just press down just like that, and that kind of gets everything all mixed together. Now at this point, if you feel you need to add more sour cream or ricotta to this, you can. But you just want to make sure you're getting that cream cheese somewhat mixed in with this. And this is going to give it a nice creamy consistency. These are such a great meal to have. I made some the other night and just made them right away. I did not make them a freezer meal. and they were delicious. So you can go either way with it. All right, at this point, I think I'm going to add a little bit more of ricotta cheese to this. Maybe another tablespoon. Stir it up. And that should be good. That's about the consistency that you want it to be. You can see it, still see a few lumps of cream cheese. If you want it a little bit smoother, you can do it smoother. I don't mind a little bit of lumpiness because once you bake them, it's all going to kind of melt together. So there it is. There is our yummy creamy mixture for the inside of our lasagna roll-ups. And the next step will be actually rolling them up. So we'll be back for that. Okay, so we're back and we have all the ingredients cooked and ready to go to put into our freezer bag. Today I'm actually going to show you how to take it out of the freezer bag and cook it, or how to prepare it so that you can cook it, so that you kind of get an idea of what I do. But anyway, the noodles are done and I want you to see the consistency that they are. They're not completely cooked, they're flexible, but they're still kind of hard. So it's kind of an in-between. You want them flexible, but you don't want them soft. So that's how I like to do them. You can choose your own method. So basically I'm going to lay these noodles out just like so. And then you take your cheese mixture that we made, and you just want to take about a tablespoon of it or so, however thick you like it. Now if you were making these vegetarian style, then you can use more of this because you're not going to put any meat on it. But you can also put less of this as well. It's your choice. I take about a tablespoon and I just kind of slide it and spread it on each noodle. But I want a good amount on there so that you can taste it. And remember, with the heat, it's going to, when you bake it, it's going to spread out. So just like lasagna. So go ahead and place that on there. And if you run out of mixture, just, go back and make some more, or you can always double the recipe of the cheese mixture. Okay. Now the next thing I do is, I forgot to grab this. I have to move 10 things to get one thing out. I have this ginormous bag of spinach. Huge, from Costco. Which if I don't use up pretty soon, I'm going to be freezing that as well. Alright, and all I do is I take the spinach leaves. Now you can replace this with kale if you want to. You can put fresh basil in there. You can do whatever you want. I'm putting spinach leaves, and I'm just kind of piling them in there like you would watch them pile things onto a sub sandwich. Alright, so just kind of put them on there. Spinach is so healthy for you, and it's just a good thing to have in there. But if you want something with a little bit more oomph to it, you can use the kale. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our meat mixture that we made, and you're going to sprinkle that on there. Just like that. Now again, you can put as much or as little as you like, depending on what kind of, if you like a lot of meat. I like more of the vegetable and cheese mixture with a little bit of meat, but it's all in what you decide you like. So sprinkle that on there, all right? And then you want to take a little bit, we already have Parmesan in our mixture, but I'm going to take a little bit of fresh grated Parmesan and just do a little sprinkle in between. All right. Here's the roll-up process. So basically, you're going to take it from one end, and you are going to just slowly roll, and the ingredients will kind of come out. So it's kind of like a burrito. You want to kind of just push things in as you're rolling, which is what I do. And you want to make it tight if you can, and just kind of roll those up. And then when you get to the end, I kind of push those ingredients in and then just overlap it. And there you have your delicious lasagna roll up. And then I have my bag all ready and dated over here, and I'm just going to lay it flat in there because you're going to want to kind of line those up. All right, so again, just roll and kind of push things in there. Your hands are going to get messy. Just have a paper towel ready so you can wipe them if you need to. All right, we've gotten to the end. I'm going to kind of just push those in there, push my roll together, and voila. Set it next to the other one in the bag. You want to kind of do the bricklayer effect. All right, so we're going to roll this last one. And I would make about 2 per person for your family. That seems to be enough. My daughter only ate 1, and then my husband and I each ate 2 because you usually have like a salad or something to go with it, garlic bread. But if you want to make more than that, you know, go right ahead. But 2 seems to be perfect for each person. All right, let me wash my hands and I'm going to show you. When you store these, this is the trick with these, is you want to make sure you pull that bag out, okay? Let me move this cutting board. You want to make sure that the side that you rolled where it ended is the side that is down. So just make sure that you have them laying with that side down because that's going to help secure it when you stick it in the freezer so that they don't unroll on you. So I've just flipped them all around in there, and now they are flat and the rolled side is down so that it stays secure. So when you store it, you want to make sure you store it flat, at least until they're frozen, so that they stay in the shape that you want them. So there they are. You'd let all the air out. Like I said, store them that way, flat in your freezer, and once they're frozen, you're probably great. And then take them out, you know, a couple hours before you want to bake them. Put them in a pan. Put them in a pan frozen if you want to, and get them ready to go. You don't even have to wait for them to frost. You can put them in the pan in the morning with the sauce and the cheese and put foil over it, and then tell your loved one to stick it in the oven for you, or you can stick it in the oven when you get home. You cook them on 400 degrees for about 40 minutes, and I kept mine covered in foil for 30 minutes and 10 minutes without foil. So what I do when I bake them, you would take them out of the freezer, and then you just use one of your dishes, you know, baking dishes, and you're going to want to take those, and I usually sprinkle a little bit of oil, or you can put butter, or you can put cooking spray, whatever you want. I've got some grapeseed oil here, kind of, you know, swish it around, and then take your rolls, and same idea, put them rolled side down into the pan, just like so. And you can kind of squish them together, and you do that layering effect. So you keep going. So this one, you would fit 6, and then probably get about 8 in this pan. And then what you would want to do with these is I take a blend of, I've lost my train of thought, I'm sorry, marinara sauce and Alfredo sauce. Now the reason I did this is because I was cleaning out my refrigerator, and I had a little bit of each one, and I didn't want to waste either one, so I mixed them together. So it's kind of a red creamy sauce, and you pour that right on top, just like that, and you can put a lot, and of course you're going to have more in the pan where you're filling the whole thing. Then you just take some mozzarella, and you sprinkle that over the top, and I kind of do that heavy just like you would with lasagna. And our fresh Parmesan cheese, and do that on the top, and there you go. That's how you prepare it. It's easy. Now if you wanted to put some sharp cheddar on top of that, or a different kind of cheese, you could absolutely do that as well to give it a little bit of a different flavor. So there are our lasagna rolls. Like I said, cook them on 400 degrees for 40 minutes, 30 minutes covered with foil, 10 minutes without. If you don't want them right away, you're going to stick them in a freezer bag, label that freezer bag, and these freeze up absolutely wonderful. And put them in your pan when you're ready to go, and you've got another easy meal, filling meal, and serve it with a side salad or garlic bread. How easy is that? So anyway, this is my lasagna roll freezer meal. I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave some comments below. Also, share this on your Facebook page and join my Facebook page, Just for Sweets. And the group page that I have is Recipe Books, so if you want to go on there and ask to join, then you can share your recipes with everyone and get recipes from other people. And until next time, next video, I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and God bless.